Well, what do you know? It's Friday, and I would like to welcome you to the West Texas town of Midland, um, almost to El Paso. We're close for all of you Marty Robbins fans. But as I was sitting here at Jamie's parents' house, we're just visiting with family and getting away and taking our chances. As you know, you're in the house with our children all day. Sometimes you just get to the point where you say, "I'm gonna take my chances with what's going on." But as I was sitting here thinking this morning, and even in a quiet time, I was reminded of, as a child, watching the G.I. Joe cartoons. And at the end of the G.I. Joe cartoons, there was this segment where they dealt with bullying or talking to strangers or persevering through situations. But G.I. Joe, or one of his characters, would come through at the end and say, "And knowing is half the battle." Now, I'm not sure about you, but me, the more we sit in this season of suffering, and this season of dealing with this coronavirus, the more I realize I don't even know what I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what the right answer is. I don't know when to open things up. I don't know when to close them. And what's becoming more clear to me is I don't even know who to trust. Because one side always will tell you, this is what we should do. The other side tells you, this is what we should do. I don't know who to trust anymore. But it reminded me of something that Paul told Timothy in 2 Timothy chapter 1. He says, talking to his son in the ministry, Timothy, he says in verse 11, listen to this. "And this is the gospel that I was appointed as a herald and an apostle and a teacher, and that's why I'm suffering as I am." Now, he's dealing with persecution suffering, so it's different. But what we know is this. Even in this situation, whatever you think you should do, you're going to be persecuted for thinking that. They'll judge you for thinking whatever you want to think. So what he says is this, verse 12, "That's why I'm suffering as I am. Yet this is no cause for backing down, because I know," there's your word, "I know whom I have believed in, and I'm persuaded that he is able to guard that which I've given to him until that day." Now, if you go deeper into 1 Peter chapter 5, Peter says knowing this way. And I love it. I'm going to use the message remix because I just love the way that this puts it. And I think this hits us right where we are in this season. 1 Peter chapter 1, verse 8, it says this in the message remix version: "Keep a cool head." How difficult is that? "Keep a cool head and stay alert. The devil is poised to pounce, and he would like nothing better than to catch you napping. Keep your guard up, for knowing," there's our word again, "knowing that you're not the only ones plunged into these hard times." Isn't that refreshing? And sometimes it's just nice to be reminded, listen, I'm not suffering alone. I've got brothers and sisters that are suffering with me. Watch this. It's the same with Christians all over the world. So what's the answer according to Peter? He says, keep a firm grip on your faith. The suffering won't last forever. It won't be long before the generous God, who has great plans for us in Christ, eternal and glorious plans, will have you put back together and on your feet for good. He gets the last word. Yes, he gets the last word. So wherever you're at today, here's what I want to tell you from the Bible. You may not know what the right answer is. You may not know what to do. You may be suffering in silence, trying to figure out what's the right path for you to take. Here's the truth. God gets the last word. God gets the last word. So you can trust him with tomorrow. You can trust him with right now. But you can know that your suffering isn't in vain. You can know that other people are suffering the hard times with you. And maybe more importantly, that I know whom I believed in. And I'm persuaded that he is able to guard that which I've given him until the day that he returns. And knowing is half the battle. I'm going to leave you with the words of one of my favorite hymns. It simply says this: "'Tis so sweet to trust in Jesus, just to take him at his word, just to rest upon his promise, and just to know, thus saith the Lord." Listen to the chorus. Jesus, Jesus, how I trust him, how I've proved him o'er and o'er. Jesus, Jesus, precious Jesus, oh, for grace to trust him more. So I'm going to leave you with this thought on Friday. What do we know? I know who gets the last word. It's not me. It's not you. It's not the government. It's not our health officials. The person that gets the last word is Jesus. And because of that, I know that by believing in him, he will protect everything I've entrusted to him until the day he chooses to reveal it. And I know that he's not going to allow me to suffer in silence alone. I know that he's not going to allow this season to go unused for his glory and our good. And most importantly, I know that I can trust him with whatever happens today. And knowing is half the battle. The other half might just be applying that, what you know. Y'all have a good week. We love you. See you soon.